Hey, Cindy. What's shaking bacon? Where's the Beetlejuice cup? How's it going, guys? Hello. How long do you think I have before that awful beeping starts again? What do you think? I have to say Beetlejuice cup 3 times. Beetlejuice cup, Beetlejuice cup, Beetlejuice cup. Where is it? Where's the cup? Where is it? Well, they're supposed to do it again today. The testing is supposed to start again today and then possibly also tomorrow. Terrible. I don't want it. Really awful. Really, really awful. I know. What could possibly need so much testing? It basically sounds like, if I'm understanding it correctly, they are literally going into every single apartment and making sure, thank you, it was a gift from Shira, and making sure that you can hear the alarm from like they came in and they checked our sprinklers while it was beeping. So that's why it like goes off every like 2 minutes or whatever, because they have to get from one apartment to the next. Insane. Absolutely insane. I don't really understand it. They're required to do this once a year. Yeah. I just feel like there has to be a more efficient way to do it. You know what I mean? Right? Like, there has to be a better way, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. But, like, for example, why not, like, there were multiple guys there, and only one came in and looked at it while it was going. So, like, since they were all just standing out in the hallway, why don't they do 3 at once instead of 1 at once, if there's really 3 of them there? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's not what I don't understand. There were 2 guys just standing outside our apartment while one was inside. So why not have 1 in here, 1 in our neighbor's apartment, 1 in the other neighbor's apartment, and knock 3 out at once? You know? I don't get it. Huh? Yeah. I was talking about how we only have a short period of time until the doom begins again. The blaring of the alarm.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna actually sledgehammer the walls.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're already checked.
Yeah.
Should we duct tape a giant pillow to the one right there?
Yeah, something.
Should I cover it up?
Yeah. It's awful. What does it come out of? Oh yeah? Really? Okay. That'd be nice. Yeah. Right. That feels like it would be really heavy. Your puppy's over there. But filling it up. Oh, you mean like fill it up with pillow? Oh. Yeah, I do use a MacBook. Oh, interesting. I didn't think of that. MacBook is so weird. I'm using one for the first time. Why is right click not right click? Right click doesn't even exist. Why is it not right click? There's no right click. There's just one click.
If you used real computers your whole life and you just got a MacBook, you are in for a world of pain.
Don't listen to him. It's fine.
No, I'm serious.
Don't listen to him.
No, I'm telling you, just if you used real computers your whole life.
It is a real computer. What do you mean if you used real computers your whole life? Outrageous. I can go back and forth between them. I am
but you learned on
multi-computerable.
That's very impressive, baby.
But see, the problem with going to lunch is they also go to lunch at our lunchtime. We found this out yesterday. So we said to ourselves, well, let's go to the gym and get a break from this blaring awful sound. And after 5 minutes on the treadmill, I got a text message from the building that said, the crew's taking a break for lunch and they'll be back in an hour. And we were like,
fuck you. How was that? That was literally them being like that.
I mean, I was like, literally, what? Like, I couldn't believe it. It was actually almost hysterical. Where is that thing again?
Ooh, tasty.
So, yeah.
Are you sure you're not still dreaming about me?
I'm not even. You're acting like one of those girls.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Secret Fiance is one of those girls who's worried that or I guess it's the opposite. Usually, isn't it the girls are like?
No, the girls have a dream and
they're
mad
real mad.
You.
Yeah, but I'm not mad. Say hello to the Monstera. Hello,
I have
Monstera.
a dream where you're mad.
I've been reading your book. I got it Monday night. Oh, thank you, Amy. That's so sweet. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you love it. I hope you love it. I'm excited that I get to lead training today that I designed. Ooh, that is exciting. What is it on? What is your training that you are leading about? Good morning, Tressa. What is it about? Hello. Good morning.
What's the training about?
I'm waiting for her to reply.
Coffee.
Team building. We have a dysfunctional team that I'm trying to save. Oh.
What do they do?
Yeah, what makes them dysfunctional and what's their job? Tell us everything. Ooh, be discreet so you don't get in trouble, but tell us everything.
No, but whatever.
That's so sad, Cindy. Oh, Cindy, I ordered your 2 copies, so hopefully they'll be here soon. Oh, no, it's okay, Amy. I'm actually pretty good at remembering who is who. Once I know what someone's username is, I'm usually pretty good at remembering from platform to platform once I know it. Do you see why I'm sending him this time? He's 4 and he wants to know cursive. Yes, he can come hang with us. That's fine.
Cool.
Her son Miles is 4, but he wants to learn cursive, so she's sending him to me.
For how long?
Forever.
Uh-oh.
We are training techs and we're trying to redesign our new hire training. Oh. We are adopting Miles, babe.
We've adopted a child?
He looks a lot like you. It's fine. They'll never know the difference.
Okay, well, we're going to also have to teach him German.
And Italian. You know what? I believe that Miles probably could learn languages very quickly.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
He's really smart.
We teach him German.
He's also already good at math and he's only 4, so he's better than me.
Oh, cool.
He's one of those kids.
Future retirement.
Yeah. Maybe we could train him to do stuff.
Yeah.
Remember how we said we weren't going to put kids on the internet? Maybe we use this one to our advantage.
Why did you put him on the internet?
To make money off of him.
No. That's explicit. No, I don't like that.
But he's so smart.
Yeah, but it's a good thing for the future. But here's the other thing.
Yeah?
We teach him German. We don't have to learn German. Profit.
We're going to use him as a translator?
Yes.
How are we going to teach him if we don't learn it?
The phone?
Oh, just give him the phone and let him learn on his own.
Duolingo all day. You know?
That's not good, Jen. You should tell them that they need to change and comprise. I guess that's what you're doing today. That's literally what you're saying. He can go to immersion school. Should we send him to a German immersion school?
Yes.
And then at home I'll teach him Italian, and then he'll be...
No, not Italian.
What are you talking about? Of course we do.
You have Italian. I have English. He is German. You have Italian. We're good. We don't all need to know the same language.
Yes, how are we supposed to communicate with one another?
English. Insane.
Grace says she speaks 3 whole sentences in German if we adopt him. I can speak a couple of words of German now. Try to get one person to see that they should leave the team. Ooh, where are they going to go? To another team or leave the whole company? But wait, how long are you
firing somebody?
How long are you going to Germany? We
about
are probably going to Germany for 2. No, we're probably going to Germany for. We're going to German-speaking countries for 2 weeks. How about that?
Yeah.
We're not necessarily going to Germany.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks. We're only going to Germany for like 5 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ja.
Ja, Fräulein.
Ja, nein.
Nein.
Ja.
Bier in un Wasser.
Bier und Milch? Bitte? Milch? Bier und Milch? Just on the planning team, they would keep their main duties. Oh, well then yeah. Are you going to Munich? We are planning to fly into Munich. Yes, Grace. Yes, that is correct. Because it is the closest place to where we actually want to go. And then we will rent a car and we will drive to where we want to go. And then other places as well. Do some accents. B wants me to try and talk with accents. I cannot. Is he there? Can he see me? Which accent does he want? I have a couple. Yeah, you can.
A Fraulein accent, huh?
You can definitely. Okay. All right. What should I start with? Well, good morning, sweetheart. Why are you asking your mom to do accents for you when you know that's not her skill set? She's got other things. Your mom's real good at putting stuff together. Your mom's real good at fixing things. And your mom is real good at plants. And so many other things. She's good at being a mom. She's good at making twins. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, you can't be asking her to do stuff that's just not what she's good at. So what I'm telling you is, you got to find someone else to do the other stuff. Or just like find a video or something like that. That made him laugh. Okay. British accent. Well, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. You find the fun and snap. The job's a game. But we could just be Mary Poppins for literally forever because she is the absolute hero of all the days of every... Secret fiance is going to make us a smoothie. It's really hard to say that in a British accent, actually. He specifically wants you to say water bottle. Okay, water bottle. Yes. Water bottle. We went to England recently. No, not really recently anymore. Last year. And we did have a water bottle while we were there, I believe. Right?
Went to the UK.
Yes.
We had a water bottle? Probably.
Cockney accent, Al.
Aye, governor.
All I want is a room somewhere, water bottle, yes. Shira learned 107, somehow I turned Australian, oh no. Oh, that was awful. Oh no, it's happening again. This happened last year. Why, brain? I've lost my chance. All I want is a room somewhere far away from the cold night air with one enormous chair. Wouldn't it be lovely? Lots of chocolates for me to eat. Lots of cow making lots of eats. Warm face, I'm entertaining the children. Why are you looking at me like that?
I love it. It's so entertaining. You're entertaining me too. Why did I love it? I was entertained. I liked it.
What are the differences between New Jersey and New York accent? I don't know, but I have a friend whose name is Mike. He's here on TikTok. He's also a friend of Marty and mine in real life, and he is a dialect coach for theater and also at colleges. So I will ask him and maybe he'll make us a video and tell us the difference. He's the one who helped us when I accidentally was Australian last year. Do you guys remember that? Yeah.
How did he help you?
By explaining what I was saying wrong that was making me go Australian.
Do you remember it?
I have a video. He made a video for us last time. New York accent. Hey, I'm walking here.
What's the New Jersey version of that?
I don't know. I think they're so similar.
If we watch The Sopranos,
But
I
You
watch
could
The
do.
Sopranos, you'll be able to learn to
We could watch The Sopranos. I always thought about watching it. He wants to send me his art, of course. And I think I told you guys I'm building a wall to put all the art that all the kids send me on it in the slime room, and we're gonna put all. Remember that was your idea.
Which wall? The slime room.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? This was your idea.
It was?
Yes.
What a great idea.
Wow. Wow. The audacity. Which wall? Well, there was a big open wall until we put all the shelves in the way.
Oh, the very useful shelves that have made your life easier. You're welcome. Have they or have they not made your life a little bit easier?
They have made my life easier, but we can put art all around the advent calendar. We could put art all around wall, Sasha.
I was just kidding around.
There's plenty of space.
There is plenty of space.
Yeah.
Imagine how we put more shelves on the walls.
Sure. Sure. Anyway.
You like the shelves, right?
I love the shelves, but I also want to put the children's art on the wall to make me feel good.
We'll do both.
Yeah, I have all these cards from kids and stuff that they send me.
You do?
Yeah.
Are you some sort of Pied Piper character?
I am a Pied Piper.
We need to water this today.
Yes. Through the scent. Remember I asked last night how to do it? They said just go like this a little from the top and pour it in. Carefully.
Oh, okay.
That's what they told me to do.
I'll do that now.
Oh, be careful. You're going to do it alone?
Well, what choice do I have? The flowers look like they need water.
Oh my god. Be careful. I love them. Move Infinite Jest though.
David Foster Wallace would want us to get his book wet.
I don't think he'd want that.
He's dead.
Yeah, but he ended himself over not being able to replicate that, so I really don't think he'd want that. Yeah, that's what they said to do. Maybe one of those open and closed frames that you can rotate kids' art to save space. Maybe. Yeah. If we were there longer, I'd say Max would absolutely in awe to your fiance's work. But he doesn't like work in a space that's like interesting, you know, or whatever.
Who doesn't?
You don't like go to an office anymore.
No, they'll have to drag me back into an office. Cold dead corpse.
Yeah.
But my office that I could go to is very interesting.
Yeah.
I know.
Is it?
Sure.
Oh.
I mean,
I don't know.
out of places to work, the types of offices that I used to work in are nice in a lot of ways.
Really?
Of course.
Oh, I don't know. I've never been.
You know, like those sort of places. I mean, we have like free snacks, free drinks.
I think those things are always a trick. It's like, you can work here and you can have free snacks, but your life's gonna stink butt.
Well, no. Well, all working lives. I mean.
Yeah, stinks
it's a job.
butt. Yeah.
I mean,
So you'd rather just
But you
have the
don't-
free snacks than not?
sure, you have to be in a place.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
we work at home and we can just pay for our
but-
snacks.
Yeah, of course, and I would prefer that. But you know, like we get free dinners at certain points of the projects, and nothing's free, right? You're paying for it with your time.
Right,
of course.
exactly.
If I would-
I worked at a job where they tried to pull the like, we're gonna give like company incentives rather than increasing salaries or whatever.
Oh, well, we
And
didn't
wait,
do stuff like that.
but it got worse. They would plan these incentives to always be like on a Friday night at 6 p.m., which is when everyone would get to leave anyway. And then they'd get mad that no one would stay for them and be like, well, if you guys don't want cool stuff, we won't do cool stuff for you anymore. And we were all like, no one asked for these things.
What job was this?
I don't want to say on here.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, because
What's it rhyme with?
slime.
Blue Mill?
Yeah. But they would do things like how
So
to.
they wanted you to be their like Friday night friends.
Yeah, and we were all like, I want to go home. Like, I'm done for the week. Like, what?
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah. If it was like in the middle of the day on a Tuesday, everyone would have showed up. But 6 p.m. on a Friday, bye guys, I'm going home.
Later. I said later.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not. It was like literally there were a couple where like 3 people showed up and they were so mad because we had a huge staff at that time and they were like, how come we have 100 employees and only 3 people came to this thing that we hired someone for? And we were like, maybe instead of hiring someone, you could have just like, I don't know.
Did you tell them?
Yeah, when they asked, they were like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, everyone probably wanted to go home because it's Friday night.
What did they say?
They were like, well, but we paid for this whole thing for everyone. I was like, well, nobody asked you to pay for that. And they were like, but we told you all a couple days in advance to give you time to plan around it. And I was like, that doesn't make anyone want to do it. Like, it's voluntary.
They never understood it.
They like literally, it just like flew right over their heads that people would want to go home or be with their friends or families on a Friday night. I was like,
honestly, almost every work event, I'm like, I don't.
yeah, I was
don't
like,
want to
but
be
like,
with you people anymore.
but if they had planned it at like, let's say 2 p.m. on a Thursday, everyone would have showed up.
Well, here's the thing. 2 p.m. on a Thursday, then I'm like, can I just go home early instead?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
no
fair.
No matter what, I'm gonna choose going home.
Yeah,
versus
but
being with coworkers more.
But if you have to be on the clock, wouldn't you go to whatever the thing is?
I have to go see coworkers on the clock very soon, and I don't want to do it.
I know you
I'm
don't.
thinking of faking an injury.
You can't. You're in charge of it.
I'm planning it, which makes it even funnier.
That does make it funnier. Secret Fiancé is planning an event for his team because he was forced to plan an event for his team and is considering breaking his own leg to get out of the event that he is planning.
When you put it that way, it sounds almost too smart.
Right? Yeah, no, Tressa, there was not. I'm hurt, and I'm hurt that you brought me there. Goodbye. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Becca said, I'm hurt. I'm hurt that you all want me there.
They don't want me there. Don't worry about that part.
Well, he works from home, but the event is not at home. So he, you know.
It's a summit of sorts.
It's a summit for the team to all be together, and people are flying in from multiple countries. Not even just cities, countries. So unfortunately, you know, seems problematic.
Well, I could fake my own death.
Okay, but then how do you go back to work on Monday?
3 days later, boom, price-like figure.
Grace said you should pretend you're getting teeth pulled and you need implants.
Oh, that's a good idea.
No, that's bad karma. Maybe with I don't know. That scares me. I bought 10 diamond art coasters and only 2. I have always wanted to try that, but I never have free time.
You always want to try what?
Like the cool little like art where you put the little thing in the places.
Places of what?
They're like little gems, and you have to. It's like paint by number, but with gems.
Where is this?
You can buy them online. It's like a kit, like paint by number. You know when we were a kid.
3-dimensional?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's cool.
Why
Yeah.
would you paint over a gem? Already pretty.
No, you don't. The gems are the paint. I'm saying it's like paint by number, but you use gems instead. Okay, we're gonna smoothie dance now that we've gone completely off the rails. I assume we're smoothie dancing. Are we smoothie dancing?
We are.
I'm going to. I have to call them and tell them you're in a coma. Oh my gosh, that's really bad karma. I can't do that. I don't have it in me to do that.
Yes, that's good. It'll be like a soap opera.
No, I can't do it.
Why?
I can't. I don't have it in me. I feel like I would be
I'm
punished.
gonna call him from the coma. It's gonna sound ridiculous.
Becca says she'll call for you.
Thank you, Becca.
Okay, here's a better one. Grace says you should say you got stuck in some slime and can't go. See, that doesn't make me feel bad. I could get you stuck in some slime.
The amount of explanation that would take 2 days. I might as well just go.
All right, let's dance, everybody. Get your dancing shoes on.
Yeah. I know.
You can do the small diamond art. They're not as time consuming. Can he say he got amnesia? Oh. Are you going to get amnesia?
Yeah.
You could just forget how to teach them anything and just not show up.
Or just forget who I am.
Look at that.
Grace says you can't go because you're a secret and they'll see you.
Yes. That's true.
What if they see his face? Then he won't be a secret anymore.
They don't know about
I'm sure at least 50% of them have social media.
I wouldn't bet on that.
You don't think 50% of your co-workers have social media? I bet I could find them in 10 minutes or less.
I'm not very filled in social media.
I didn't say filled in. That's not what I said.
Well, I have social media.
You're not supposed to tell them that.
Oh, well, everyone does.
Okay. I bet
I got
with
a
the
Twitter
limited
account with one follower.
Really? I don't even have a Twitter account.
Well, I use it to follow certain people in my industry.
Yes. I bet with the limited knowledge I have of your coworkers, I could find their social media in 10 minutes or less.
Let's do this.
After this, I will attempt it.
How do you do it without them seeing that you did it?
They can't see that I found them. I would have to follow them for them to know that.
You know, I've never done that my whole life.
Looked for someone on social media?
No.
Oh, I have. Clearly. Who's searched for someone on social media?
I honestly just...
People are saying I should start by looking for them on LinkedIn. No, but I'm saying I can do the real ones.
Well, they all have
yeah,
that.
I'm not. I'm not even counting that.
Everybody.
No, I'm not even counting that.
Just as a survival thing, you have to have certain social media.
Delicious.
Good? Tropical?
Mm-hmm. Yep, they're all saying they've all searched for people, especially anyone they've ever dated.
Time for New York Times games?
Yes. Momentarily. Okay. Where were we? Okay. So where we left off, she said, I didn't want to be separated from my family again, but the minute that I set foot in my family's apartment at the Waldorf, I knew I couldn't live there. I was afraid to go to sleep in the room where I'd been abducted, so I sat up doodling, sketching, listening to music, making lists, thinking about ways to make money and leverage the assets that no one could take from me. My face, my name, my legs, my modeling contracts, my experience on the runway, none of which would mean anything if I wasn't willing to work hard. And I was willing. I knew I could work like a rock holler. I tried briefly to finish high school at Canterbury, a Catholic boarding school in New Milford, Connecticut.
Oh, yeah.
What? Told you? What? Really?
Yeah. I told you.
Oh.
Remember when I said she went to school near us?
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that. How many of you are near New Milford, Connecticut? At least a couple of you. I know that. One good thing, I got to play ice hockey. I always loved Rockefeller Center ice skating rink as a kid. I was fast and fierce on the ice, and now I had a lot of aggression to work out, and hockey's great for that. I flew around swinging the big stick. I loved the fresh, cool air in the arena and the fresh, cool girls on the team. I made a few fun friends who were happy to sneak out with me and go clubbing. Usually we took the subway into the city, but one night I treated us all to a limo. I told the driver to wait outside campus, and he rolled up like, yes, I'm here for Paris Hilton. This was not well received, and it was the last straw. I'd been cutting classes and failing everything, so they kicked me out. In 2007, Canterbury's Director of Finances told the Danbury New Times her goals and priorities were not the goals and priorities of the school. I'll agree with that. I went to Storm King, a wonderful place for effed up rich kids, but I got kicked out for the usual reasons, plus keeping ferrets in my bed. It's a choice. There's so many things that I agree with her on. The ferrets in your bed are none of them. My last resort was Beekman, a tiny school a few blocks from the Waldorf, and I was just so bored. I was like, forget this. There was nothing wrong with any of those places, but I had exactly zero transferable credits beyond 9th grade at Palm Springs. This was a rude surprise for my parents, who'd bought into CEDU's Integrated Arts and Academics pitch. CEDU had an elaborate graduation ceremony where they even handed out fake diplomas. Provo Canyon didn't even bother, so now at age 18, I'd have to enroll as a 10th grader in any properly accredited high school, public or private. Hard pass. This whole shitstorm had stolen 2 years from me, and that's like, what is it, 10% of my life at the time? No, more, like 20%, isn't it? Because like 2 years would be a fifth of your life when you're 20, and I was only 18, so Forget it. I can't do math. Math got robbed from me, along with geography, algebra, socialization, healthy flirtation, how to conduct my body and value my soul. Everything a kid is supposed to get from high school. Homecoming, prom, the whole Brat Pack sizzle reel. I got screwed out of that. My education was how to scrub toilets and haul rocks, how to fight for my sanity, how to hurt people before they had a chance to hurt me. I'm great at all that. Algebra, not so much. I can't let myself think about it. It still pisses me off. Bottom line, I wasn't made for school. Grinding away at it would only slow me down and make me feel worse about myself than I already did. I figured I'd get a GED someday if it ever became an issue. I did my best to reconnect with my childhood friends, but I felt weirdly shy around them. When I was a kid, my bashfulness transferred into silliness and overcompensation, constantly trying to make people laugh and show how brave and cool I was. I came out of Provo burdened with my natural shyness plus layers of trauma and degradation and anger. I was locked into the London boarding school story, trying to avoid detailed conversations about it. And you know how it is when you're being dishonest. You second guess everything. You question what other people think of you because you don't know what to think of yourself, which makes you paranoid, and then you just want to run and hide. That summer, I saw the movie Big Daddy, an Adam Sandler rom-com about a guy who, through a series of events that could only happen in an Adam Sandler rom-com, becomes the ad hoc father to a 5-year-old boy. There's a great moment where they're walking down the street together and Adam is telling this little boy that he'll have to get used to a new person who, Adam hopes, will be a big part of their life. And the little boy says, "I'm scared. What if she's not nice?" Adam digs a pair of sunglasses from his pocket and says, "See these right there? These are magic sunglasses, okay? If you're afraid, you put them on and they make you invisible. Keep those on and no one can notice you until you decide that they can." I was immediately like, yes, that works. That's why I always need my sunglasses with me, night or day. And that is what was in my heart when I did a line of Y2K-inspired sunglasses with Quay, a brand led by women, with a big chunk of the money going to Project Glimmer, a nonprofit dedicated to instilling confidence in forgotten girls. Girls in the foster and congregate care systems, girls with special needs, girls who need to be seen even when it's scary. I want them to know I see you, if that's okay with you. It sounds silly, but that little magic sunglasses coping mechanism made it possible for me to stand up and start my life again. My first and best source of income was modeling. I knew how to walk and still had some connections, so my first move was to renew relationships with designers and several different modeling agencies in the US and Europe. The unfortunate trend at the time was the whole heroin chic thing, stick-thin bodies, sunken-in cheeks, and big hungry eyes. After 17 months of malnourishment, I was as thin as a blade of grass. I wasn't trying to be a size 0. I was a kid who'd been living in a state of near starvation. After several months of that, food was an afterthought. When I needed sustenance, I drank Red Bull and kept on dancing. In a way, 1999, that first year after Provo, felt a lot like skydiving. After a prolonged period of terror, self-doubt, and confusion, I launched into the sky. In this free-falling, high-speed gravity rip took over. The whole world was picking up speed. Euros had become a thing. The new iMac said hello and came with a series of Easter egg colors. Everyone had email now and cell phones. When I lived in Palm Springs, Graham Cracker had a mobile phone the size of a submarine sandwich with an antenna sticking out the top. Now everyone had these adorable little Nokia phones and I couldn't wait to get my hands on one. I tried to reorient myself. I consumed movies, television, and music. The Sixth Sense, The Matrix, Notting Hill, Austin Powers, the Goo Goo Dolls, Eagle-Eyed Cherry were still huge. Grunge was on the way out. House music had grown by galaxies with the advent of computer mixing and editing. Pop music was cleaner on the tech side and dirtier in the lyrical department. Thinking Ricky Martin's La Vida Loca, she'll make you take your clothes off and go dancing in the rain. She'll make you live her crazy life. She'll take away your pain, like a bullet to your brain. It was liberating and terrifying, and I was so there for it. The first thing I did was dye my hair back to the Barbie Platinum. I'm a natural blonde if you don't count hair color. That's funny. Feeling golden, I raided Nikki's closet and hit the clubs. If anyone asked where I was going, I said, out. I was 18 now. No one could tell me what to do, what to wear, or how to feel. All I wanted was to recover some shred of happiness and lay the foundation for my independence. When I was out at night rocking my magic sunglasses, all I felt was joy, euphoria, the emotion, not the show. But can we talk about Euphoria, the show, for a minute? I mean, first of all, Zendaya is everything. But that show is also gorgeously capturing the thrashing, beautiful, frustrating, sensual, stupid, fun, crazy, sexy, dangerous, dazzling meaning of young adulthood unleashed. I hope people watch it and go, oh yeah, maybe my kid's not as out of bounds as I thought she was. And maybe the world my kids are growing up in is a bit more complicated than the blockbuster video family-friendly aisle I grew up in. Anyway, Euphoria was a little euphoric leaving that hellhole. Was literally euphoric after leaving that hellhole. There was no time to rest or decompress. I had to do everything now before any time was taken away from me. I needed a team of people I could trust. This was a challenge because my ability to trust anyone had pretty much been murdered. I could count on my dad's secretary, Wendy White, for honest bookkeeping and logistical support. I was angry at my parents, but I could count on them for candid, expert advice in the area of money, which also gave us a safe topic to talk about. I also had Papa, who knew more about business than the collected faculty of any MBA program. Papa was overjoyed to answer any questions about indemnities or the difference between Delaware corporations and LLCs. At the mention of profit and loss statements, he got moonstruck. Hello there, was the look on his face, and he didn't stop talking for an hour. I didn't fully appreciate it at the time, but this was a super solid foundation on which to build the first phase of my business life. When I told Papa I wanted to make $100 million, he didn't laugh or pat me on the head, and he asked instead, what for? The usual stuff, I said. I didn't have a spreadsheet mentality about it, but I was fixed on that goal. I thought $100 million would make me feel safe. You can do it, said Papa. Don't let people say you can't. When I was your age, I was a photographer for the U.S. Navy during World War II. Learned to fly, got my twin engine rating at age 19, came home from the war and started an aircraft leasing company. Papa came up with $25,000 on his own to invest in against his father's advice. In a football franchise, which he cashed out of years later for $10 million. He founded the American Football League and he bought the Los Angeles Chargers, all that and a lot more before he took the Hilton Corporation to the next level in Vegas with the Flamingo and the Las Vegas Hilton, where Elvis Presley played 837 consecutive sold-out concerts between 1969 and 1976. Like me, Papa was a tech nerd. He changed the casino business forever, pioneering eye-in-the-sky visuals that made the pit a lot safer for visitors and less susceptible to cheaters, gropers, and other problematic people. Thank you, Anya. Vision. Maybe that's what I inherited from Conrad Hilton. To be an agent of change, you have to get there first. Can you see it? Are you willing to trust your instincts? When I moved back to LA in 1999, I feel like I had missed so much. I had a huge appetite for fun, music, laughter, clothes, people, places, and just a lot of everything. Music cue alternates free. This was my anthem after I left Provo. Go listen to it right now and dance. Seriously, your soul will be changed. To this day, when I play it in a show, the iconic opening chord progression brings tears to my eyes. I'm instantly back in New York dancing in a club where they projected a video on the wall, a bigger-than-life image of a stunning woman in a silver straitjacket. She stands in the middle of a cold clinical environment, feeling horribly familiar to me. And then comes the unstoppable pulse of the music. At first, there's sorrow in the lyrics. Where did we go wrong? Where did we lose our faith? This despair is undeniable, but as the song evolves, the joy takes over. You want it, reach for it. Euphoria, ambition, possibility. It made me feel giddy and elated, like I could do this, all of this. Everything that I had to do, I could do it. Do what you want to do. Months of visualizing and planning distilled into a driving ambition that powered me the same way that bass power lines power that song. I went out telling Dad I was networking, and I was, but mostly I just wanted to feel fun and happy. My love-hate relationship with sleep kept me going. No matter how exhausted I was, literally nodding off in the cab at 3 a.m. As soon as I laid down in bed, I was wide awake. I couldn't sleep with the lights on, and I couldn't turn the lights off, because in the dark, they came for me. In the dark, I heard hushed voices in the stairwell, water dripping in a metal sink, footsteps down the hall, like distant thunder, closer, coming closer, right outside my door, and then hands grabbing my neck, clamping down on my mouth. And then I was back in that dank cell. 'Cause 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 I was back in that dank cell. 'C or running through the woods where the children were buried, or staring at a wall, paralyzed by fear, aching to wake up, trying to force myself to scream. When the screaming finally came out of me for real, it jolted me wide awake, heart pounding, cold sweat tickling down the back of my neck. I sat up in bed and I knew I would have to stay there, knees pulled up to my chest, even if I had to pee. Because if I set my foot on the floor, a hand might reach out and grab my ankle. This is not real. This is not real. Stop being stupid. This is not real. I coached, berated, and trained myself not to think about those things that had happened and those other things that happened. They called it a medical exam because I wasn't ready to call it words I'm not going to say on here. I called it a medical exam too. And because I wasn't ready to call it what it was, I called it a medical exam too. Before CEDU and Provo, I had never been to a gynecologist. I was only a kid with a vague idea of what that meant. The staff at Provo had their favorites, always pretty girls, but I don't always think it was about pretty. I think there were weak people in the outside world, men and women, who got off on the power they had over us. They took us to the infirmary and made us lie on the table. And then I'm not going to read that part out loud. There was always a tray of syringes for those who resisted. One of the girls who, like me, got taken to the infirmary on a regular basis, we're just going to call her Needles, came to me and one other girl while we were cleaning the bathroom and whispered, "If they come for us tonight, I'm getting out." I immediately was interested. How? We get his keys. Whoever's on the table closer to the supply cabinet, grab the syringe and stab him. What if it's too much? The other girl asked. What if he dies? What if we die? Needles said. Paris, come on. Needles made the point that I was the tallest and I could get him in the neck. I'll grab the keys, I said, but I can't stab the guy. Seriously, I can't. But I was kind of thinking, could I though? That's how far I had turned. It didn't matter. The other girl immediately reported the confiscation to Pigface, and Needles threw me under the bus, claiming the stabby part was my idea. I didn't blame her. I understood the say-anything desperation she must have felt when Pigface confronted her. Pigface gleefully sent me to ops, and as soon as I got out, what a coincidence, it was time for another late-night exam. After I got out of Provo, I thought of myself as a grown woman, and I wanted to have grown-up relationships with men, but the thought of going in for a gynecological exam and getting birth control terrified me. I couldn't separate that word from what those people in Provo did. Those perverted people with blah, 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 and their creepy laughter. The kind of laughter you hear from a kid as he pulls the wings off a baby bird or tortures a squirrel in a homemade trap. I tried to smother the memory of that laughter with alcohol, Molly, and music, but even if I fell into bed, danced out, and drunk as the sun came up, I always woke up within an hour or two sweating and screaming. I found more meaningful rest in cars, airplanes, makeup chairs, or even dark corners with the comforting chaos of the party going on around me. The only way that I could sleep in my own bed, alone or otherwise, was if I had my dogs with me. Back then, I had two sweet teacup Pomeranians, Sebastian, named after Ryan Felipe's character in Cruel Intentions, and Dulce, self-explanatory. They weren't trained as such. These were therapy dogs in the truest sense of the word. All that CEDU emotional growth BS left me with the abiding fear of human therapists, and I thought I'd die if any of my friends or cousins knew what had really happened to me. My dogs were my support network. Dulce and Sebastian didn't question my choices or prod me to talk about my feelings. They didn't try to unpack or understand me. They were just there, following me when I paced in circles or piling on top of me when I curled up in the corner of the floor. My dogs had always been my sanctuary. My current cutesy crew, Diamond Baby, Harajuku, Slivington, Ether, and Crypto, live in their own mini dream house in my backyard. It's big enough that I can crawl in there if they need me or if I need them. A mini dream house is not over the top at all when you consider that my dogs surround me with a fortress of love. Mornings were usually pretty rocky for me. I was grateful for an hour or two of dreamless sleep, but if it finally came, but I usually got up feeling like my head had been slammed in a car door. My stomach churned, empty and tight. My jaw throbbed from my clenching teeth. I forced my forehead to relax because I didn't want to develop lines above my eyebrows. Mid-afternoon, I was ready to chow down on whatever fast food was available. I lived for McDonald's and Taco Bell, and I could eat a gross amount of fat and calories because I never sat still. I was constantly trotting, skipping, hustling, hopping, dancing. I never sat down while I checked my messages, returned calls, and paged through the papers, soaking up the gossip and planning my evening. At night, I came alive. There's nothing like the LA nightlife anymore. Back then, we didn't have to deal with the exposure and distractions that consume people now. Twitter and Facebook hadn't even been invented yet. Netflix was the thing you literally received in physical discs in a bright red envelope via snail mail, and it played a DVD in a player, and then you mailed it back to Netflix in the same envelope with a little flap torn off. If you wanted to see people, engage in a conversation, hear music, and develop a network, going out was a way of life. You were never troubled by the idea that someone was going to film you doing something idiotic, because if they did, so what? Who were you going to share it with? There was no YouTube either. I had no stylist, no agent, no manager, no publicist. My friends and I were just out there every night wearing whatever we felt like, finding our own style and having fun with our hair and makeup. Some of my looks back then were way over the top, but my childhood had been stolen from me and I was done playing dress up. I earned all that extra. Mom and Nikki shopped for big labels at Henry Bendel, but I was a downtown girl. My favorite boutique was Hotel Venice, a rave store owned by Patricia Field, a costume designer for Sex and the City. I went there with my mom's credit card and loaded up on platform boots, micro minis, and several sick outfits my mom hated. When the bill came in, Mom thought I spent the money in an actual hotel. She called them up demanding to know what the hell her daughter was doing there. Nikki and I both wore a lot of heatherette and walked in a lot of heatherette shows. This adorable campy brand was founded in 1999 by Richie Rich, a performing artist with Club Kids, and Travis Raines, a Montana farm boy who somehow ended up in the New York City fashion world. I read somewhere that they named their brand after their friend Heather, an opera singer with one leg. Clearly, it was destined for out there greatness. I lived for Heatherette's rave tanks, glittery, glammy, heavily bedazzled tops worn by Britney, Madonna, and Gwen Stefani. I think one of those little tops made an appearance on Sex and the City, which was a serious style barometer at the time. You could pair those little tops with jeans or a skirt or just about anything, and because they were designed by a dancer, you could rage all night, look great, and be comfortable. They also made the sickest, sparkliest little dresses. Oh, come on, Heatherette, I miss your charm. Come back. My calendar was jammed with events at various clubs, private homes, and Avalon, a huge event space in an old building on Hollywood and Vine. I made a point of attending events thrown by Brent Bolthouse, an old friend of mine who'd planned my Sweet 16 party, and learned a lot from the way he curated parties based on the right mix of talent and experience rather than fame and money. There were no random people, no crashers, no desperados. It was all people you knew or wanted to know. Interesting people having interesting conversations about art, music, and movies. People trusted each other. I felt safe, even when I drank too much. It was all so much fun. Remember? Fun? There were signs, no cameras. Purses and pockets were checked at the door to make sure no one brought in those little disposable cameras we used to use before smartphones were a thing. You can't keep the cameras out because no one wants to give up their phones now. You get less resistance if you ask them to donate a kidney at the door. I'm not judging. I'd give up my kidney in a heartbeat. My phone is like my jetpack. I have 5 dedicated phones, separate numbers, work, personal, Europe, prank calling, and one more with a number I give out if people ask for my number, but I don't feel totally comfortable giving my real number, but I don't want to be mean because I'm a pathological people pleaser. Even Carter can't get me to part with at least 2 of these phones. Believe me, he's tried. Kids who grew up with smartphones, Facebook, and Instagram never got to experience a club or a house party where they were totally free to be themselves without feeling they were constantly on guard. You did, Amanda? To who and why? My friend Holly Wisserma, who later produced Dallas Buyers Club, produced a doc called Guest List Only, a character study of people on both sides of the velvet rope, starring club promoter Sarah Uphoff. Everyone called her Pantera Sarah, along with me and the other regulars at the Opium Den, Dublin's, and Vinyl, all my favorite LA hangouts. I remember Sarah running at the door, selecting who was in and who was out. People loved to come in with me because I was always in, and I was always in because I always had an amazing group of cool people with me. I was curating an incredible circle of friends, not just the famous people you already know about. I'm talking about wonderfully strange, creative people whose names you may not recognize, even though they made LA the wonderfully strange and creative place it was. I loved hanging out with artists, poets, musicians, filmmakers, writers, and technology geeks. Oh, to your baby. Well, of course. I mean, that's like a given. I think we would all do that if we were a match. That, yes, of course. I think what she's talking about is in favor of not giving up her cell phone. I'd rather give up my cell phone than a kidney, but for a child, yes, of course. A friend asked me to be in an indie film called Sweetie Pie, which was beyond lame, but to me it was a big deal. I was in the movies. Seriously, it was a great way to start learning about the process. That's the kind of education that works for me. I need to be on my feet, asking questions, part of the action. You were funny. You're right, it was funny, Amanda. I started learning my way around the recording studio the same way. I met a producer who worked with Jessica Simpson and Kelly Rowland, and we collaborated on early recordings that would eventually grow into my first album. The studio was heaven to me, combining 2 things I loved almost as much as I love my own skin: music and technology. The migration of music on the computer world, we take it for granted now, but back then this was a rush of freedom and empowerment. Creators didn't need permission anymore. Before GarageBand, before Logic Pro, there was just good old Logic, democratizing software that opened the garage door and let everyone in. The paparazzi were evolving with digital cameras and lightweight video equipment that made it possible for them to get arable walk and talk film footage, crisper and high definition photos with virtually any kind of lighting. Going out almost every night in LA and New York, I was getting a lot of attention, which I loved. It made me feel like a star. After that long period of never being allowed to look in a mirror, I enjoyed feeling beautiful. Instead of cussing or avoiding the paps like a lot of people did, I waved and called out, "Hey boys," and made sure they got all the good angles of me struggling with my shopping bags or getting frozen yogurt and being all Marilyn Monroe on the subway crate. They could get more money for candid shots. Unlike a red carpet where dozens of photographers are taking essentially the same photos, candid shots were unique. Tabloids crave photos of a celebrity in an unguarded moment, eating a burger, walking a dog, as if they were a real person. The paps weren't allowed to come inside a club and bother people, so they camped outside and waited for us to come out. I bought some adorable sneakers at a little place on Melrose. Roller skates popped out of the bottom when you pushed a button on the side. Those were my favorite clubbing shoes of all time. I zoomed all over the place. If a pushy guy hit on me, I zipped off across the dance floor. It made for good video, me zooming up and down the street, in and out of parties and night spots. People started calling me Roller Girl, which I loved. They might have been referring to Roller Girl, the porn star in Boogie Nights, but the movie came out while I was at Ascent, so I didn't know anything about that until years later. The Pen 15 Club did a song called Miss Hilton, and that kind of says it all. Miss Hilton, I remember that song. Do you guys remember this song? It was a good song. Miss Hilton, you must be worth $1 trillion. Get the feeling that you don't really give up. Miss Hilton, I like the way you push and glide roller skates on a social butterfly. I didn't know that that's why they put that in the song. I didn't know she was literally roller skating. That's funny. I thought they just made that up. A few years later, this song was on the Simple Life soundtrack, but it was written back when I wasn't famous, just starting to be a little known. Even then, I knew I wasn't trying to build an ordinary career. I was building a brand that would eventually turn into multiple income streams. But that sounds way more calculated than it was. Looking back, I see the mechanics of it all falling into place, but at the time I was just a teenager having fun without apology and without inhibition. That made fun people want to hang out with me. And when I showed up at a party with a crew of models, actors, and socialites, the paparazzi always followed. So pictures would show up on page 6 or people in the early gossip online blogs. Event planners really wanted me at their parties. And I'm not talking about the Lipschitz wedding or your cousin Jill's living room hang. I'm talking about gallery openings, film premieres, product launches, business functions, and nonprofit organizations' galas, parties with a purpose. There's a lot at stake on those red carpet events. People invest a lot of money sponsoring them. You see how all those red carpets are stretched out in front of the wall with logos covering them, right? If nobody interesting shows up to stand in front of it, it's a stupidly expensive lost opportunity. They need beautiful people on that red carpet to draw attention from the paparazzi. When my picture appeared in page 6, WWD, tabloids, entertainment sections, whatever, the sponsor got exposure that they were hoping for, and the pap got paid for the licensed use of the image. So I started thinking, what's in it for me? I was having fun, but I was bringing a lot to the table. Why shouldn't I get paid to show up and party and magnify that brand? Here she comes. Kind of a genius. It's kind of hilarious when people assume I was putting myself out there because I craved attention like a pound puppy. I love feeling special, of course, but I started making real money when I realized that I was the amplifier and attention was the power cord. I transformed attention into a marketable commodity to benefit brands that I believed in, including my own. I always knew on some level that there was a difference between that kind of attention and love, but sometimes when love didn't come along, the constant clicking was an okay substitution. Before Carter and I got together, he and his little brother Courtney wrote a book called Shortcut Your Startup, Speed Up Success with Unconventional Advice from the Trenches, Gallery Books, 2018. If that book had been available when I first started building my business, oh wait, never mind, I wouldn't have read it. I wasn't really in a book reading mode. Now I'm in a business of book addiction. I make Carter drag an extra carry-on so I can load up before a flight at the airport bookstore. Back then, I was just living moment to moment, but I was doing things that hadn't been invented yet, like taking selfies. I didn't stop to wonder what to call it or to add up some kind of strategy. Anyway, Shortcut Your Startup. In their book, Carter and Courtney posed 3 key questions before you start anything. 1, what does success look like for you? 2, why has no one else done this? And 3, why you and why now? Looking back on the startup, I didn't even know I was starting up. Number 1, success for me looked like a grand ballet of security, respect, and the ability to help other people. I wanted to bulletproof my independence and show the world that what I was capable of, and facilitate brands and artists that I believed in. That's what success looks like for me even now. My core vision has never changed, and while it does evolve, raking in as much money as I can generate, it's never been about money for money's sake. It's always been about how I wanted to feel, not what I wanted to get. Number 2, if no one else had ever done what I think no one else had ever done what I did because no one else had ever been me before. A specific girl born at the dawning of the age of Aquarius with my unique combination of advantages that did lift me up in life and disadvantages that forced me to grow. I'm sure I wasn't the first socialite to do the math on the party equation, but my experience and resolve gave me the nerve to ask. Making the ask is where so many entrepreneurial endeavors die. Pride gets in the way, or the lame idea of that's not how it's always been done. My pride had already been taken from me, and I didn't know how to care about things the way that they'd been done in the past. I was doing everything in my power to burn the past to the ground. So I just made the ask, like Jesus said, ask and it shall be given unto you. And number 3, why me? Because I didn't trust anyone else. That's why. And why now? Because now is all there is. Now is all that matters. That might be my ADHD talking, but now is the only universe worth living in. New Year's 1999, I partied like, well, you know. Some people were weirdly freaked out by the idea of Y2K, but I gladly turned the page. New year, new decade, new century. Embracing the idea that this would be the best millennium ever, I launched into a lifestyle of constant work and travel that continued for the next 20 years. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Yeah, he's listening to some comedian or something, I'm sure. He's at his computer. He listens to stuff like that while he works. Pretty amazing. She's a genius. I'm convinced. You can't tell me otherwise. You will not convince me that Paris Hilton is not a genius after this. It was a great chapter. It's much more uplifting. I think we're moving into the more uplifting parts of the book, which is great. So for anyone who doesn't know, we did pick our next book. Also, for anyone who's on here who's also on Goodreads who hasn't added me, go ahead and add me. Hey, Amelia. Because you can, yeah, me too, Amanda. Because a lot of you, I found out through the other page, through my Sasha Quinn Books account, that a lot of you haven't been adding the book club books to your reading stuff, but you should. Like, it's our whole thing. Maybe we can make a group on on Goodreads, and like put our book club books in there. I don't know. Anyway, add me there if you want to, and we can all like share our book recs and stuff. And that's a way for us to find new books and stuff. I started entering some of the like ARC reading possible giveaways. Me too, Nate said, me too. Just started it on Goodreads and also on some other places. So maybe we'll get some like new fun stuff that we didn't know we would like through that. Who knows? Maybe we'll find some new authors. I don't know, but it's fun. It's cool. And that's that. I did not go live yesterday because, as you all heard in the video, there was blaring alarm happening. And I figured y'all wouldn't want to listen to that while I made slime. And it didn't stop until in the evening when it was too late. So let's see what happens today. So far, it hasn't started yet. They said they were going to start at 8 a.m. today. Clearly, they didn't. So I don't know how late it's going to go because they were supposed to be 8 to 5. But when they start later, they go later. They also didn't start at 8 yesterday, even so they said they were going to. So I'll let you know if the alarm's going off again. If the alarm's not going off, I'll be on making slime. If the alarm is going off, I'm not going to subject you to that because that just seems cruel, you know? Because it's really loud. Like, it's really, really loud. Yes, we did read the Britney book. We read the Britney book last year, right? Like, right when it came out, I think. Like, within a week or two of it coming out. It was an absolutely necessary story, and we were glad that we read it, but I think we all agreed that her ghostwriter wasn't nearly as good as Paris's ghostwriter. And the other thing that struck me about Britney's story versus now when we're reading this is I feel like Britney did not learn the same lessons that Paris is obviously picked up from hers. Like, Britney would like present a story that was obviously a problem in her life, literally, Grace, Like there was she would like say a story, and it was like a very poignant story, and then she would like try to give the lesson at the end of it, like Paris does as well. But like we were all like, no, baby girl, that's not the lesson. No, 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 no. You know what I mean? It was rough, but also, yes, that's another thing. Jen is right. Paris has had time to process past it. Yeah, I actually love reading memoirs, Anya. I'm so glad that you're getting into them. Brittany had a different start in life, and also it took her much longer to get out of her trauma. So Paris has had 20 years to process all of this, whereas Brittany has had, what, 1? You know what I mean? In the grand scheme of things, it's not much. So I give her a lot of grace, but I also want to say, not against Brittany, against the ghostwriter. The ghostwriter wasn't nearly as good as the person writing Paris's. Paris's ghostwriter is chef's kiss, you know? You should definitely read it. Yeah, you should definitely read it. I think it was a worthwhile read, Amy. I just don't think that the writer was as good. And again, that's not Brittany's. Well, maybe it is Brittany's fault. Maybe she picked the person. I don't know. I don't know whose fault it is. I don't know who picked it. But Paris's ghostwriter is top notch, 10 out of 10. Even if I didn't know the person that they were writing for, I'd probably still read it because they write so well. So A+ on that regard. Anyway, I will probably see you all later. It just depends on the fire alarm situation. It hasn't started yet, which concerns me for how late it's going to go. But you can say anything, NB. What would you like to say? Paris is also very intelligent. Yes, yes, I agree, Meta, and I kind of get the underlying of what you're saying. Okay. I am going to say something that might make everybody a little sad. None of the dresses in that video are the one that I picked. I went to a different place another day and ended up picking something else. I'm sorry. I thought that I was going to pick something from that place originally, and then I just had a gut feeling, and I went to a different place and ended up picking something else. Sorry, guys. Wasn't one of those. Yeah. They detected an activity on my account. I will, NB, but not right now because I don't want Secret Fiance to see it. But I will post pictures of it when I have like our photos and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't want to risk him seeing it. So they're hidden in my phone. Actually, I should put them in a hidden folder in my phone so he did, because Secret Fiance has full access to my phone, and not that he would like look for them, but he might accidentally be looking for something else and accidentally see them. So I should probably hide them. Yes, Amanda, we did, and I will explain all of that another time because it's a lot. But I love you all, and cross your fingers for me that I can get on. Well, there's hidden folders in your phone, Grace, that you need Face ID to get into. So I can put it in one of those. Cross your fingers that later I can do slime today, and that there's not a blaring, what do you call it, on the system. Oh, it is, Amanda, it is. And I will hopefully see you all on the flip side. Lots of slime going out, and slime should be available to the public probably. I should probably be done packing up all the pre-orders by the end of this week, and then whatever extra I made will go out to the public. So that's nice. Very exciting. Means that regular people are going to get slime this time. And in case anyone donated to their slime of the month or whatever to sponsor a class. Oh, that's the other thing. Slime of the month should be going out around Friday and Saturday because Shira's getting me the charms by Thursday, she said. But I think we got like 15 donations for sponsor a class, which means we should be able to sponsor at least 2, possibly 3 classes, depending on the size. Some of the teachers that asked have like rather large classes, so it's a little different. So I was asking them, would you like to get less and have the kids share it, and then we can donate to more classes? You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. I was like, if you let me give you just like 10 for each classroom, I can do a lot more classes, as opposed to if someone has 40 kids. Yeah, what happened, Cindy? You've been locked out? Oh, yeah. Will you email me, Cindy, and remind me? Because I have to do it from a computer. I can't do it from the phone. So when I get on the computer, I'll do it. But if teachers agree to just like take 10 slimes each, I can do like 10 classes, you know what I mean? As opposed to like one person was like, oh, well, my program has 100 kids in it. Oh, that's okay, Cindy, don't even worry about that. I can fix that. Yeah, we'll see what the teachers say. Yeah. They can share. The kids can share. If you just make a rule, you can only go to the slime. There's one teacher I work with that I give slime to often that has like a sensory table, and the rule is just that the kids have to go wash their hands before playing at the sensory table. You know what I mean? So as long as they do that, they can all share, and they're not all sitting at the sensory table at the same time. So it's not like all 50 kids are at the table at the same time. So I think that's what I'm going to try to do to spread the wealth a little bit. We'll still be giving out the same amount of slime. It'll just be more teachers, essentially, is kind of my goal currently. Because like Alexa, who's in our group, her program has 400 kids in it. I was like, well, I can't make 400 slimes. That's getting ridiculous. Yeah, exactly, Amanda. That sounds awful. But there's another class that only has 15 kids and they're all teenagers. So I do want to get each of those kids their own slime because they're a Title I school. So it's like underprivileged teenagers in a special needs group. They all deserve their own slime. You know what I mean? As opposed to like 80 first graders, they don't need their own slime. No offense to the first graders, but they're not like mentally, they're not going to sit with it as long as a teenager will. That's just what I've learned over the years, is that like a teenager will like use it for like study and sit and whatever, as opposed to a first grader who will be like, I'm gonna play with this for a minute, okay, bye, you know, and like run off because attention spans. So that's kind of how, for any of you who donated your thing, if you want to know, yeah, and the first graders need to be supervised where the teenagers don't. If anyone just wanted to know how their funds were being used, I wanted to let you know where my heart is with it. Like I feel strongly about spreading the wealth, but I also feel strongly about making sure that the teenagers that get individualized stuff, you know? I don't know if that feels weird. Like it's not that I don't think little kids deserve it. I don't know. I don't think they'll know the difference. I guess that's what it comes down to. I don't think the kindergartners and the first graders will care. I think they'll be like, cool, slime. You know what I mean? Like, and just not know the difference from the ones that I've worked with. Yeah. Okay, great. I'm glad you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. It'll get yucky very fast with the littles. And the teenagers having their own individual slime that they get to keep for only them with their name and their label or whatever, that feels really good, especially for underprivileged kids. It feels like the right thing to do. Like in my heart, it feels good. And I like that feeling, and I hope you do too. Yeah, I hope we all feel good about what we're doing. It felt good last time I did it. It feels nice. It's like, especially when you get like the letters and the videos back from the schools where the kids are like, you could hear how happy they are in their voice. You're like, meh. Okay, anyway, I'll see you all later. Bye guys.